DNF, the acronym in reading for did not finish. It's when we start a book and we put it down and we never take it up again. To DNF or not to DNF, that is the question. The noble quest of finishing a book, you can't stand a journey more treacherous than Frodo's trek to Mordor, but with fewer snack breaks. The reason many people don't DNF, like myself for many books, is this sunk cost fallacy where we've invested the time and energy and also the money maybe to buy the book, and we want to see it through to the end, but it's not a rational decision. I believe DNFing is healthy. In Daniel Penneck's 10 Rights for the Readers, the third one is the right not to finish a book. There are so many books out there. Most readers have shelves of books they haven't read. I've got a shelf here of my physical TBR books I want to read, but I haven't read. So why waste time on one I'm not enjoying? My name is Jim. This is my channel, Books, Reading and Stuff. I picked up A Man Was Going Down the Road by Otar Chiladze because he's widely considered to be the first great Georgian novelist of the post-Purge era in Georgia. Talk about Otar Chiladze in here. I put it on my TBR for the Georgian Readathon and now I'm regretting it. Otar Chiladze was even shortlisted for the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1998, which was won by José Saramago. I prefer José Saramago personally. Why would I consider DNFing? A Man Was Going Down the Road. The plot I found very confusing, meandering, very slow, and I found I couldn't get invested in any of the characters. The names were difficult to remember, names like Chalciope, Ujero, and Panaus, and I may be completely butchering those names. The story is set in the times of ancient Greece, mostly in Vani, in eastern Georgia. It was Colchis at the time, where Jason of the Argonauts fame sought the Golden Fleece, and he left with the fleece and also with Medea, the daughter of King Aeetes. I find the characters unrelatable. I don't care what happens to them. For example, Ukero is a war hero. He's crippled in a battle and he spends the rest of the book half covered by this giant sail that he is embroidering with scenes of his life. Who does that? The plot spans generations and the characters in the second part of the book are different to those in the first part of the book. It's very confusing and it's very difficult to stay motivated. I also had some problems with other books set in similar eras like The Song of Achilles and a retelling of Gilgamesh by Robert Silverberg, but at least they had better stories that I could latch on to. I think I should stay clear of ancient Greek retellings in the future because they're just not for me. Some people love them, they love Circe and Song of Achilles, but this isn't my jam. I'm not averse to all ancient texts, and some, like the parables of Jesus, like the parable of the prodigal son and the Good Samaritan, these are timeless and relatable, but ancient Greek ones, they're not for me. I haven't DNF'd. A Man Was Going Down the Road. I've persevered because I'm the host of this Georgian Readathon and I didn't want to throw in the towel. I've read almost 80% of the book now. It's quite long, it's 492 pages, but it's no mammoth. In March I read The Eighth Life by Nino Haratoshvili. That was longer, much longer, it's over 1,200 pages, and I read that in 3 weeks. I was very gripped by the story, but this hasn't worked for me with Otar Chiladze. Also, the mythical Greek intervention in Colchis is subtly told by Chiladze, who was writing in Soviet times as an allegory of Russia and the Soviet Union's subversion and conquest of Georgia. This allegory where it went completely over my head. I did enjoy Les Enfants du Paradis by Marcel Carné, which was the French resistance contributing to a film made in Nazi-occupied France, and that I liked. But this, I just missed the allusions to the Soviet occupation. I see on Goodreads the average rating of the book is 4.39, but most of the people leaving ratings are Georgians, and they can appreciate the original prose. I'm reading the translation by Donald Rayfield, and in translation you lose the mastery of the language of the original writer, which is quite normal. The translation's perfectly competent, but I'm sure some of the magic of the writing is lost. I see also on Goodreads that Roz of Scallydandling About the Books left a 4-star rating, but she admits herself she's overgenerous with 4-star ratings and she's no longer active on Goodreads. She wrote, I think this is a very fine book, but I struggled my way through it somewhat. It wanders and rambles. I suspect Chiladze was making discreet comments on the Soviet suppression of Georgian culture and society, and I did not know enough to appreciate this, so some elements seemed obscure and repetitive, whereas other sections were brilliant and extraordinary. I'm glad to have read it, but was a little relieved to finish it. I will be very relieved when I finally finish it. If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. That will help me with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to leave a comment on your thoughts about DNFing, that would be appreciated too. We can have a discussion about when you should DNF a book and when you should persevere with a book. And I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye. Nachamdis.